Hello, it's almost 11 a.m. here in Seoul. I'm Sejong at the Arirang News Center. We're breaking into our regular programming to bring you a live briefing from the South Korean health authorities on the coronavirus outbreak here in the nation. In just a few moments, we'll cut into the briefing at the Sejong government complex with simultaneous interpretation available for you in English. Their Director of Health Policy, Taeho, will be briefing us on the coronavirus situation here in South Korea, updating us on the number of new infection cases seen as of midnight, and what kind of efforts the government is making to contain the virus, especially with the spurt of cluster infection cases here in the Seoul capital area, the surrounding Gyeonggi-do province, and other major cities in the country. He's just taken to the podium, so it looks like the briefing is just about to begin.
First of all, here is Mr. Taeho with the explanation on the COVID-19 response here in South Korea. Let us now begin our regular briefing for September 7th, Monday. As of today midnight, we have 108 new local infections. Yesterday we had 2 additional fatalities, with the death toll now standing at 336. I extend my deepest condolences to the deceased and the members of the bereaved families. Nationwide social distancing measures are now yielding some results, and we are seeing a steady decline in the number of on-day cases. And on the August 27th, we had an on-day increase peaking at about 434. However, we are maintaining the number now in its 100s. And also, we believe that in the metropolitan area, the concentrated number is about 78 today, which is on a steady decline. And we believe that the level 2 social distancing put in place nationwide, as well as the intensified social distancing level 2 in the metropolitan area, are now yielding some results. And this was all possible thanks to the efforts put forth by the public, especially as the residents in the metropolitan area that have also endured a lot of sacrifices and damages going forward. And in order to have a clear reduction in the number of confirmed cases on a daily basis, starting from today, the metropolitan area will have a week-long intensified social distancing measure to September 13th, while the nationwide social distancing level 2 will be extended for another 2 weeks until the 20th of September. And in the metropolitan area, all of the franchise coffee shops and bakeries, as well as ice cream shops, will only be allowed to have delivery and takeout services. And the private academies, including those for vocational training, will also return to switch to remote means. And we believe that these will endure a lot of difficulties to many residents. However, we would like to stress that abidement is very important at this stage of time. Just like you did so far, we ask you to comply with another week of social distancing measures so that we can contain the virus going forward. Meanwhile, we are expecting a mass migration of people during the Chuseok holiday, which is nearing, and in order to preemptively restrain such an outbreak, we have made some announcements yesterday, and we asked you to refrain from visiting your hometowns and visit your family members as well as your relatives in order to protect yourself and your family members from the virus. While we are seeing a decline in the number of patients, we are still seeing continued cluster infections sporadically nationwide, as well as many cases being untraceable as well. So in order to protect the health and the safety of your loved ones, we ask you to stay home safe and sound and to refrain from visiting your hometowns. And the government will also exert our full efforts for intensifying our quarantine measures during the Chuseok holidays. We will like to, first of all, decrease the level of congestion at public transportation, including railways as well as expressway rest areas, this. And we will also intensify our quarantine measures for the ancestral graves, visiting which is a custom made by the public. And we will also intensify our quarantine for multi-use facilities that are frequented by people, including grocery stores and department stores and so forth. And we will make sure that there is no vacuum in the quarantine measures during the holiday. And moreover, September 30th to October 4th has been designated as special quarantine period, during which toughened quarantine measures equivalent to social distancing level 2 will be put in place nationwide. And we will also intensify our quarantine measures, including the suspension of operations at high-risk facilities, including bars and clubs, considering the continued outbreak in the number of patients. And it is a very great pity for us to recommend you to stay home during our major holiday of Chuseok. However, please remember that we need to refrain from making mass migrations if you live with family members who are in the senior age group. Moreover, we also conducted and we will be conducting continued inspections on private business operations. And the Labor Ministry is also exerting its full efforts to look into the inspections for the 2 weeks starting from August 24th. And we are also looking at some 7,800 vulnerable facilities, including call centers as well as meat processing facilities. And some of the 340 facilities that have weak quarantine abatements will also carry out a random crackdown at any time. And in order to curb the spread of the virus into the society, we will also carry out continued quarantine and inspections for these facilities during the next 3 weeks. As for the food processing companies and the meat processing companies, we will also intensify our quarantine measures as well. And we will also make sure that there are no blind spots in these facilities as well. And during the Chuseok holiday, we could see some blind spots in the fields of foreign laborers, and there are many facilities amounting to about 1,500 meat processing factories and so forth that employ foreign and international laborers. And we will look into these facilities going forward, and we will utilize these communities, and we will provide these quarantine measures and guidelines translated into 16 languages, and we will provide them to the foreign laborers. And we are continuously exerting our full efforts to secure more hospital beds, especially for the critical ill patients as well. And we will we are currently increasing the number of hospital beds for the intensive care units. And we have secured 44 new hospital beds, and we will be increasing the number by 20 more during this week. And we will make sure that these could be immediately into use, and we will also provide various benefits and incentives as a means of compensation.
That was Director General of Health Policy Yoon Taeho briefing us about the coronavirus situation here in South Korea. He just told us that there are 119 additional infection cases as of Monday midnight, bringing the total accumulated number of cases to 21,296. There were unfortunately 2 additional deaths, bringing the total death toll to 336. Now that wraps up our coverage of this morning's briefing. We will be back though with our regular newscast at noon Korea time with Mark Broom. Bye for now.